Hi, my name is Rose Reevely. I'm a Vedic astrologer, and I am here today talking about the stars and what is going on in the month of February. Before I start, if you'd like to see more videos, please hit the subscribe button. I really have so much to talk about today, and there's a lot of movement and transits for the month of February. One of the major things is, of course, Mercury is retrograding. It's the first retrograde for 2020. And Mercury will begin that retrograde on the 16th. Now, you could notice a few days ahead of time when a planet is moving into that position, you could start to feel it. A lot of times I'll have clients say, well, I felt it before it actually began. And that comes under applying. When a transit is applying, it's beginning to move into that position. Mercury retrogrades in the sign of Aquarius and in the same nakshatra as the new moon. We'll get into that in just a moment, but this nakshatra or star that I'll be talking about is called Beitia. First, let's talk about Mercury's retrograde. Most everyone is familiar with the fact that when Mercury retrogrades, communication just doesn't flow forward as easily as it does when Mercury is direct. So there's a few things to know and to kind of pay attention to whenever Mercury goes retrograde. Now, one of the things that I've personally noticed is that in teaching, people can mishear or misunderstand what you are saying when Mercury is retrograde. So I interpret that as maybe perhaps a need to slow down. Some people talk really fast. Sometimes I talk fast. Sometimes I try to consciously slow it down. And so it's a good time to slow down with communication so that you're not misunderstood or misheard. So if you're signing any contract, and I always think of home buying or leasing a home or leasing an apartment, even leasing a car, any kind of contract, Mercury rules over contracts, you would want to have another person, another set of eyes, look over that contract so that you can make sure you haven't missed anything, you haven't left anything out. I can assure you that later, whatever it is that has been left out will come up and perhaps be an issue. So you just want to make sure that if you have to buy or do a contract of any sort during this time, make sure someone else looks it over. Avoid, if you can, buying a vehicle. I have had clients tell me that before they drove it off the lot, and this was a new car, that it actually broke down. And so electrical items have a way of being flawed during Mercury's retrograde, and so you end up returning it. Avoid starting new projects. Now, one of the things is this is a really good time for researching a project or researching anything, but you want to avoid beginning or starting anything new during Mercury's retrograde. Remember, Mercury it rules over a vast domain, communications, and everything, the spoken word, the written word, all technology. This is a huge area of our lives and so much a part of our lives today. Mercury retrograde is good for reassessing where you are. I always explain it like this. It's like a puzzle, right? And there's a missing piece. And Mercury's retrograde is giving us a chance to figure out what that missing piece is. It could have to do with work. It could have to do with our relationship. It rules over so much of our lives. So it's an opportunity for us to reassess during this time. Mercury retrogrades probably affect the sign of Virgo and Gemini. More intensely, it is their ruling planet. And so it does have a way of affecting every sign in the zodiac. Now, if you're doing any kind of school, educational or learning right now, this is good for reviewing because it's like taking a test, right? We always go back and review all that information so that we can take the test. And maybe we had a way of learning that information months ago, weeks ago, even years ago, but we need a review time. So this is good for anyone taking a test or getting ready to want to pass a certification. Mercury in the sign of Aquarius is very forward thinking. It's very scientific in the way that it thinks. It can look at things from a different perspective. So again, this is really good for research. Review your email before you hit the send button. Even if it's just for editing or, spelling correction. But remember that email doesn't have a tone, and sometimes people can read and they interpret that information, as I said earlier, differently than what you meant it. So editing any past material, books, projects, just preparing for, Mercury to go direct. You may also, here's another one too. I was thinking about this. This is a really good time if you're an early bird for for tax preparation. So I know the deadline is not until April 15th, and right now we feel like that's a ways off. But it will be here sooner than we think. And this is a really good time for organizing all of that information. Even if you take it to a CPA, you've still got to get all that information together. And so with Mercury retrograde, you're going to be able to find maybe even tax benefits there that you didn't really know about, but you're taking the information to the CPA for them to do it. So this is a really good time for that. You may also come into contact with people from your past, people that you've known a long time ago, or even from your recent past. But this can bring up, issues from the past. And so this is a good time for clearing that up. You may, it could be business acquaintances, it could be friends. But this is a good time for catching up, right? Make sure that you back up all your devices. Make sure you back up your computer, your, everything, and make sure that your spyware and, all of your protection is working for you technologically. A nice energy for February is that Venus, the planet of love, beauty, relationships, the planet of enjoyment, is exalted in the sign of Pisces. And the energy of Venus in Pisces is very refined. It's social. It is. It gives a love for the arts, for movie going, for beautiful museums, places to go and look at art, fine dining, everything that you can think of that is enjoyment it comes under the realm of Venus and beautification, things in places that are beautiful. So Venus in this position loves luxury. This Valentine's Day, we'll see some really luxurious gift giving with Venus being exalted in Pisces. This is also a place of deep inspiration. We can draw from, and this is for everyone. This is for everyone. Of course, for the signs of Taurus and Libra, it is really beneficial because it's their ruling planet. But this is a transit that everyone can enjoy. We are more inspired here. We are more creative and intuitive, and our inspiration often it ignites us to create. And so this is a really good time. You'll see more focus on women's issues. Women will come to the forefront more during this time. So this transit will last from February the 3rd, it's when Venus entered into Pisces, all the way until the end of February the 28th, February 28th. This is an excellent transit for Valentine's Day. So this will be really nice. On February the 7th, Mars entered the sign of Sagittarius, where it is now traveling with K2, the south node, and Jupiter and Pluto. Now, Pluto is an outer planet, and really a lot of Vedic astrologers don't even use this planet. I've noticed that when you have natal planets that come in close contact with Pluto, there are there are big events. But Pluto mainly is an outer planet and really affects us on an outer and social level. It rules the masses. It transits out of Sagittarius and into Capricorn on February 26th. Now, these dates, on February 25th and 26th, Mars, the warrior planet, conjuncts Ketu, the south node. On September the 11th, 2011, we had a similar transit with the nodes, Rahu and Ketu, being in destructive nakshatras. This time, Ketu will be in Mula, and Mula is also referred to as the root or the foundation star, and Rahu will be in Ardra. Both Mula and Ardra are stars that deal with destruction. Mars energy can be related to accidents, to the military, it deals with disruption, with weapons and weaponry, and with violence. So the deity of Mula, the star that Ketu will be in, is Niriti. And she is the goddess of destruction, and she has the power to tear things apart. Ardra is the teardrop. And the deity for Ardra is Rudra, or the god of the storms, the god of destruction. Ardra means the moist one, and it's again related to the teardrop, which is from destruction. Often comes tears from this, and sadness. So this is a destructive energy that I'm talking about. Now, this time, Jupiter will be traveling with Mars and with Ketu. And the way that I interpret this is Jupiter is the guru planet. Remember that Jupiter is the guru planet, and Jupiter is benefic, and it deals with knowledge and with wisdom and with the higher mind, Remember this, every planet can operate on a higher, more conscious level, or on a lower unconscious level. Let me give you an example. When Mars is operating in a higher, more conscious level, Mars becomes a spiritual warrior. When Mars is operating on a lower level, that is when anger takes over a person and they do destructive things to other people or even to themselves. So you see, these planets operate on an energetic level, and we have control over who? Over ourselves and how we use that energy. So Mars on the higher level, as I said, is operating as a spiritual warrior. So this can be a time of our consciousness being significantly raised to understand that we are here to heal ourselves, and when we do that, we also heal the planet. So here is what you can do before the transit takes place. And remember, 5 days either side, but in this case, we're talking 5 days before the 25th and 26th. So that would be like the 18th of February. We would be having very powerful, positive thoughts, right? In terms of our own lives. It's said that 17 seconds of continual positive thought manifests that which you think on. It manifests. Now notice 17. The numerology of the number 17 is what? 8, right? And the 8th sign of the natural zodiac is Scorpio, but it also deals with transformation. I've talked about this many times in other videos. We're really constantly manifesting, but being conscious of our thoughts and conscious of what it is that we want to bring more of, right? Not what we want less of. So we really want to think about and our thoughts be on positive. Being conscious takes a observance of ourself, right? Observance of our thoughts. And so affirmation, and I love techniques. Affirmation can turn negative thoughts into positive. And affirmation is simply repeating something that is positive. In this way, the more that we repeat it, the more power we give to those positive words. Other ways of being positive or raising our vibration is EFT. It's a tapping, and what it does is it just moves energy through the body, and it clears the way, because a lot of times energy gets stuck in the body, and a lot of times it gets stuck on something negative, right? And we want to remove that negativity and allow positive and joyful and happy thoughts to permeate the body and the mind. Meditation, of course, always meditation, right? Yoga, mantras. I love mantras. I am a big fan and a big proponent of mantra. I believe that it manifests. I've seen it in my own life, so I know that it has a powerful way of working. The goal here is to keep yourself in a high vibration. Always, the higher the vibration, the more that you assist yourself for healing and Mother Earth, the planet. So what you do during this time is really important. And remember that you have control over yourself and how you use this energy and how you let outer circumstances affect you. We still can hold a high vibration. Now, the new moon takes place in the sign of Aquarius at 10 degrees. Remember, I said earlier that Mercury was turning retrograde in Aquarius, and the nakshatra or star is called Shatabisha. And this word has many meanings, and the word translates into hundreds of healers, hundreds of cures, and also it means hundreds of flowers, And so you see, this star has a deep connection to medicine, to medical, and to also a connection to herbs and flowers. It is said that an illness in this star is very difficult. If a person becomes ill under the star, it's very difficult to cure. But then also cures that are found under this star are highly effective. And so possibly, I think, and I hope that there's some research scientists listening now, that there is a cure here. And it has to do with the coronavirus that we see spreading, which is likely to spread. But I see that there's possibly a cure through flowers, through herbs, through something found in the roots of plants, because also Mars is in remember I said Mars is in Mula, and that is called the root star, the foundation. I think there is possibly a cure or a connection for a cure here in flowers, in herbs. And the other part of this that I see is that, and you may be aware of this now, with CBD and hemp oils becoming very predominant is in terms of helping people with their levels of anxiety and stress and all of the other areas. We are looking at a plant. I think this is so powerful. Plant and planet, right? So they are, the word says a lot, and I did see something that said, can a plant heal the planet? And I think that is a possibility. Now, the moon and the mind are connected. Okay, the moon is our feelings and our emotions, and Mercury is our thinking mind, our intellectual mind. Mercury deals with analyzing, with criticizing, with critiquing, with logics, with numbers. So it's very analytical in the way that it operates, and the moon is our feelings. Mercury's retrograde during this new moon, we're going to be experiencing feelings and thoughts from the past, as I said earlier. And we may meet people from the past that bring up thoughts or emotions or an event or trigger something that happened a long time ago. Now, how I see this also working is that you may learn something new from a situation, from a person that happened a long time ago. And you may learn the truth this time about something that you had thought before was the truth, but it wasn't. And now you find out that something wasn't really what you had thought all this time. And what this is bringing in an opportunity to heal. Remember that this star, Beitia, is a star of great healing potential. And what is cured under this star is cured. It's effective, right? So whatever comes up for you during this time, remember it's time to let go and heal it. And you can do that. The new moon is where we always experience the most change in our lives. And so within that month, right, it's applicable for the month. So I'm just going to give my analysis of each sign and how the new moon is really affecting you. And Moon and Mercury, remember, Moon and Mercury will be in the same sign, the same star, and it deals with healing. And Moon and Mercury both deal with Mercury, the thinking mind, the Moon, the feeling, our feelings, how we feel. Aries, you have been for some time undergoing this transformation. It has to do with your home and career. I've talked about this, Aries, with you in readings as well. But about the end of February, you are going to see and feel progress. Now, why you haven't up until now is because you've been filling in the missing pieces, and Mercury's going to help you complete that cycle of what you really want to manifest. Remember, we have to get down to the foundation if we're going to build a strong one in terms of career and home. Taurus, Venus is exalted in your house of gains and friendship. Gains meaning what you can gain in life in terms of assets and prospering. So take advantage of this through February. This is a really creative time, and your creativity can end up in being your best earning potential there. So Venus is in the house of gains. It's a good time for you to get ahead. Gemini, putting yourself out there in terms of publishing. Now, remember, your ruling planet Mercury is retrograde, but you're going back and you're looking at something that you've done in the past. And, maybe it's just dusting off the book cover, as I say, but teaching and writing and all communications. You're going to be going back and looking at previous, maybe people you've done workshops with, maybe someone you haven't talked to in a long time, and you reignite that association. Cancer, big changes for you, Cancer, emotionally and professionally. The February full moon of the 9th, it happened in your first house. And so there's an outer and inner effect going on here for you. And this is signaling big changes for you personally. And so you have to give Mercury its time for you to rethink how this is going to work out for you. Remember, you are a water sign. And so you're kind of led by your emotions instead of the analytical or logical part. A lot of times Cancer is really making decisions based off of their emotions. The new moon is in your 8th house. This is the house of transformation, the house of change, as I mentioned earlier. Leo, your business partner and your partner, they can be the same. You can be married to your business partner, or they can be separate. Either way, there are some losses involved with this person. Now, they could be changing. There may be no longer your partner in terms of business or even your relationship. But financially, something is ending here. So it could be something as just like your partner retiring, maybe, but they're moving away, or their life is being transformed too. Virgo, Now remember, Virgo, Mercury is your ruling planet, and so it is going retrograde. So you're really experiencing some desires to break out of the old right now, and you really want to change your routine. You're really ready to shake things up. And so Mercury is going to have you looking at, well, what in the past worked and what didn't work. See, this is the logical and also our feelings. What do you want for your future? And so this is a really good time for you to heal anything that has held you back up until now. So you're getting ready. You're laying the foundation for a new adventure, and that's going to be fantastic for you, Virgo. This new moon falls into your 4th house of home. So even you might be reviewing or reanalyzing where home is and where you can change that and how you can make changes to that to make it really, really beautifying it and just making it a wonderful place. Libra, your ruling planet, Venus, again, right? Taurus and Libra, their ruling planet is exalted. This is a fantastic month for you. It's great because the new moon will be in your 5th house. And so that's the house of speculation. This is a good time for you to speculate. This is a good time for ideas. And so it's a great time for entertaining, for going to the movies, for purchasing beautiful clothes, beautiful items, luxurious trips. So the new moon, again, brings in this speculative time. So just remember that this is a good time to be looking into new ways to build your foundation stronger. This could even be financial. Scorpio, your ruling planet is Mars, and it just moved on February the 7th into the sign of Sagittarius. This gives you incredible inspiration. Mars and Jupiter are friends to each other, and so this is going to be really good for you, Scorpio. Now, here's the thing. It really probably will take off around the end of February. That's going to be a better time for Martians, I mean by that, Aries is ruled by Mars, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. And so this will be, the end of February will probably really begin to pick up speed for you. Sagittarius, communication is important this month. Take care with short distance travels. Take a little longer time, to get there. Maybe slow your speed down a little. Be careful with communications, and especially communications with your siblings and with brothers. Mars does rule brothers in particular. Capricorn, Saturn, your ruling planet, is in its strength and dignity now. It is really becoming strong. But also take care that you don't come across as being too overpowering, because this is a really powerful position. And Capricorn, you've waited a long time to feel this way, right? And so take care. If you are a person in an authority position or you are a boss, just be careful with how you use your authority during this time. Make sure that you don't come across as sounding too much like a dictator instead of somebody who just wants to get the job done and really appreciates those people who are working behind the scenes to get the job done. Aquarius, you are the new moon beneficiary, right? You may feel flooded with thoughts from the past and thoughts of the future. I call this past futurist, right? And we are all past futurists. But for Aquarius, this absolutely applies. So here is what can help you, because your mind may be going really fast, and it may go in reverse, and it may go in forward. So meditation, or just simply being in nature, just being in nature can help calm your mind. If you are into yoga and you know pranayama, which is breath work can become your best friend during this time. And also with the breath work, allows you to have this creativity that the mind can bring whenever we sync it up with the breath and the mind. When they're working together, that's when you can bring a lot of creativity in.